Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news we are following, this is a live look right now. Part of US 70 near Garner is expected to be closed for hours after a crash that brought down traffic lights. You have this live look at the scene, and we'll tell you about the impact it could have on this morning's commute.
And we're waiting for some showers that are starting to creep into the western part of our viewing area right now. I'll show you how that could affect your morning commute.
Lead in the soil. The update we'll get today about the next steps to reopen parks in Durham after lead was detected.
And Super Bowl Sunday is all set. It's a three-peat for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll have a look at their game and their competition, the Philadelphia Eagles, on the way. Third time in a row, no team has ever done that, let alone win 3 in a row. So we'll see what is next for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Renee Chu. Eagles versus the Chiefs. Boy, that sounds familiar, huh?
Doesn't it, though?
2 years ago? Yeah, another rematch. All right. 4:31 on your Monday morning. Yes, here we are at Monday. And Elizabeth Gardner joining us as well. And Elizabeth, walking outside, I'm thinking, 30s, not bad at all.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It feels toasty out there, doesn't it? We have some real warm air that's going to come in as we get through this week. But this morning, temperatures are above freezing. So what happens today will all be liquid. Right now, we're looking at gray skies here in Raleigh. It is 42 degrees and the wind is calm. So feeling a little bit more comfortable. Some 30s on the map, though, for sure. 39 in Fayetteville, 37 Clinton and Goldsboro, 36 in Rocky Mount, 37 in Roxborough and in South Hill. This is a look at Futurecast for us. Starting to see a little bit of rain creeping into the Sandhills now. And a lot of the rain that we see this morning will be down to the south. But notice what happens right here at around 6 or 7, right about the time that a lot of folks are getting out on the roads in the Triangle. We're going to see that rain rolling through. It begins to ease up a little bit right around lunchtime, but we can see another wave that rolls in right around the time of the evening commute. Our hour-by-hour forecast, we're in the 40s now in the Triangle, but that's where we'll stay. We'll only climb into the upper 40s for this afternoon. Again, we do have some nice warm air on the way. I'll show you when we hit the 60s coming up.
Part of US 70 near Garner is closed right now after a car crashed into a pole and knocked down some traffic lights. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from that scene. Now, Laura, Garner police say this is part of the road that'll be closed now until 10 this morning.
Jeff, talk about a problematic situation for the morning commute. Take a look behind me here. You can see Garner police here on the scene, blocking off this major section of US 70. This is at Timber Drive. If we pan the camera more this way, you can probably see all of those blinking, flashing lights. That's the DOT as well as Duke Energy working right now to clean up a mess on the ground here on US 70. I can see several stoplights that were knocked over, power poles, all of this happening because what Garner police are telling us, a malfunction issue with a vehicle early this morning causing a driver to crash into some power poles here, knocking down all of these utility poles here in the area. So I can tell you, just getting here, it was pretty difficult. We saw a lot of road closures along Mechanical Drive or Boulevard as well. So we know that this is going to be a problem for the next couple of hours. Garner police telling us that we can expect this road to be closed for at least until 10 o'clock this morning. As far as that driver was taken to a local hospital. They're expected to be okay. Garner police, they say that they're not expecting to file any charges. This is a story that we're going to continue to stay on the scene and monitor throughout the morning. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Today, the race for a seat on North Carolina's state Supreme Court heads to a federal appeals court. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the state Supreme Court. Kelsey, arguments in the case start today.
Yes, Renee, those arguments will start later this morning. And we've been staying on top of this race and the aftermath for months now. Republican Jefferson Griffin is challenging the November election results. This after he lost the race by 734 votes against Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs. That result has been confirmed through multiple recounts. However, Griffin claims the state should have never counted more than 60,000 ballots. He's requesting to throw them out. Most of those ballots are from people who voted by mail, did early voting, or voted from overseas. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran explains his argument.
There are concerns that the state can't verify the identity of these voters in question. And so therefore, since we can't necessarily say we know who they are, their ballots shouldn't be counted. Democrats and even some Republican critics have said that there's just not any truth to that.
So today is just the start of these oral arguments in the federal appeals court. Doran says we probably won't have a ruling today. In the meantime, this case will be also heard in the state court. So we'll be sure to stay on top of that. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Also today, we'll be learning more about work being done to get lead out of 5 parks in Durham. East Durham Park, East End Park, Lyon Park, Northgate, and Walltown Parks were all found to have lead in the soil. Today, Parks and Recreation will share an update on analysis being done on the soil, the next steps they plan, and options moving forward to get all the parks back open. The meeting is happening at Walltown Community Center starting at 6 tonight.
The stage is set for Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The Kansas City Chiefs will look to become the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. They'll play the Philadelphia Eagles in the big game on February 9th, and you'll be able to watch it on Fox 50.
And so the Chiefs punched their ticket with a win over the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. Back and forth it went for that game until it was tied 29-all late in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs got the go-ahead field goal and then stopped the Bills from scoring again after that play. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get the win 32-29.
The Philadelphia Eagles put on a record-setting performance in the NFC Championship game. They scored 7 rushing touchdowns in their 55-23 win over the Washington Commanders. That is the most any team has ever had in a playoff game in the Super Bowl era. Their 55 points is also a record for a conference championship game.
The community is showing its support for Coquette. The North Hills restaurant reopened last night for the first time since a shooting killed an employee there. It reopened for reservations only 9 days after the shooting that killed Jonathan Schaefer. A steady stream of customers entered the restaurant throughout the evening. Some who spoke to WRAL said they wanted to be there to help the restaurant recover. Coquette's owner, Kevin Jennings, was in the kitchen for the reopening. He said Schaefer will be commemorated through a collage at the restaurant.
Just don't want it lost that, our friend Jonathan Schaefer and co-worker is no longer with us.
Schaefer was a server at Coquette, and witnesses say the restaurant's executive chef, George Colum, walked in on January 17th and shot and killed him. Another employee was hurt. Colum then shot himself, and he later died.
The U.S. and Colombia reached an agreement after days of tariff threats. The White House says Colombia agreed to accept military aircraft carrying deported migrants. That's after Colombia refused to accept 2 deportation flights. In response, President Trump threatened steep tariffs on imports and other sanctions. Colombian President Gustavo Petro then threatened a 25% retaliatory tariff increase on the U.S. Late last night, the U.S. and Colombia agreed to the, quote, unrestricted acceptance of migrants. A shooting in Raleigh left 1 woman injured. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker got this video of investigators at the scene. This was on Hillsborough Street near Old Time Barbecue last night. No arrests have been made.
A solemn ceremony will take place in Auschwitz, Poland today. World leaders will join with citizens to mark the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi concentration camp. Soldiers liberated about 7,000 prisoners at the camp. More than 1 million people died there. Most of the victims were Jews, but Polish, Russian, and citizens from other countries also died there as well. One survivor who escaped when he was just 4 years old is returning and sharing his story.
Important for me to show the world, the bigotry and the hatred that went on in Auschwitz.
The Trump administration is sending a delegation to today's ceremony to mark the anniversary.
Tax season is here. The IRS says it will start accepting and processing 2024 income tax returns today. Now, the official deadline to file your return will be April 15th. But because of the devastation wrought by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, all taxpayers in North Carolina have until May 1st to file their 2024 returns and pay any tax due. Of course, you can still file earlier and get your refund sooner.
More problems for Los Angeles. The new concerns as the area sees rain after those destructive wildfires.
A mother's message on mental health 3 years after her daughter died by suicide.
We all have mental health to be concerned with. and making sure that we keep our mental health in a good, healthy place, that's essential.
Hear from the mother of Miss USA 2019, Chesley Christ, who is also Miss North Carolina, on what she hopes families can learn from her daughter's tragic death.
Rainy days and Mondays. This is a live look in Clinton. Right now, good morning to you. We'll show you the pros and cons to this morning round of rain on the way.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
443, some showers that are moving into our viewing area right now. Down here around Hope County, Chatham County, a little bit, or down in Cumberland County and Chatham County, starting to creep on up into the Triangle area. This is going to become heavier as we get into the morning commute. Likely to be about 50 to 60% chance from now all the way up until around 8 or 9 o'clock. And then just kind of on and off through the rest of the afternoon. It's not likely to be with us all day. None of it's going to be very heavy, but it doesn't take a whole lot of rain to make for some messy conditions for the morning commute. It's 36 in Wilson right now, 42 in Durham, and 39 in Fayetteville. Temperatures are pretty much upper 30s and low 40s heading out the door. Again, the kids will probably be happy to have their rain jackets since we'll have showers on and off, and they could be here when they get off the bus.
A major rainstorm is hitting Los Angeles right now. It's happening as families return home after the devastating wildfires. People are being warned to be ready to evacuate again because the threat of flooding and mudslides is rising. Crews are scrambling to prepare. They're building barriers around some of the hardest hit areas, shoring up slopes and reinforcing roads. There is also worry about toxic chemicals in the debris that could flow into nearby waterways or the ocean. Rain is in the forecast through today.
It's 4:45 here in the WRAL Life Center. I saw this live feed and I just had to show it. This is here, you'll see as most of the screen. These are tens of thousands of Palestinians returning to northern Gaza after that truce was placed between Israel and Hamas. And you'll see here all the people that are walking near the coast. There's so many people walking along with their belongings, trying to go back and make sense of the nearly, I believe, 60% of buildings being destroyed in Gaza. What you see in the bottom right essentially is a map showing the different destroyed areas that are in that location. See all that red there? That's what we're talking about. That's what these people are returning to. And the hope that so many of them have is trying to return to some sort of sense of normalcy. But how do you do that when you see something like this?
Chris, thanks. Elon Musk's virtual appearance at a far-right campaign event in Germany is leading to more questions about his global influence. Musk addressed Germany's AfD party. The party has said Islam does not belong in Germany, and its leaders have said Germany should stop apologizing for the Holocaust. Musk made an apparent reference to Nazi Germany during his speech.
Frankly, too much of a focus on past guilt, and we need to move beyond that. Children should not be guilty of the sins of their parents.
The chair of Israel's Memorial to Holocaust Victims calls Musk's comments an insult to the victims of Nazism and a clear danger to the democratic future of Germany. This comes days after Musk posted a series of Nazi-related puns online in response to criticism over his gesture at an inauguration event. The Anti-Defamation League says his actions only serve to minimize the evil and inhumanity of Nazi crimes.
Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has been indicted on insurrection charges. This comes after he declared martial law in December. Yoon has denied wrongdoing. He's been in custody after being arrested earlier this month. He could face life in jail or the death penalty if convicted, although South Korea has not executed anyone in decades.
U.S. officials say soldiers from the Army's 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Liberty are planning for possible deployment to the southern border. An order has not been given yet. This comes as a second wave of active duty forces are being called. This round would also include the 10th Mountain Division in Colorado. It's unclear how many soldiers will go or what they will exactly do.
Chesley Christ's mother is sharing a message about mental health. Her daughter was Miss USA in 2019. She died by suicide 3 years ago this week. April Simpkins wants parents to know how they can help their children who may be struggling. Simpkins spoke to a crowd at Shaw University yesterday. She wrote a book called By the Time You Read This, The Space Between Chesley's Smile and Mental Illness. She wants families to know it's important to talk about mental health.
We don't want to talk about it. We shy away from it. And now I think with so many people talking more about their mental health, hopefully it creates a comfort level where people are fine saying, I'm not okay.
Chris was a graduate of Wake Forest University. If you or someone you know needs help, you can contact the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at any time. The number is 988. You can also visit WRAL.com and search Get Help for additional resources in our area.
It is 4:48 and could be a rainy Monday for some of us. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the scattered showers a lot to the south there.
Yeah, they are right now down here in the Sandhills for the most part. Hoke County, Cumberland County, Moore County. A little bit of that is trying to kind of creep up into the Triangle area too, from Pittsboro over toward Apex and getting ready to move toward Raleigh. Oftentimes that first little bit that moves into our viewing area evaporates before it reaches the ground. So that's not likely to cause a lot of problems, but we will continue to see rain on and off during the morning commute. Let's take a look at Futurecast, and we can back this up a little bit, and you can see where we're likely to be at around 7 o'clock. Could be seeing some fairly steady rain from Durham to Raleigh to Goldsboro, Southern Pines, Fayetteville, Clinton, and of course that gets into kind of the heavier part of the morning commute. Once we get closer to lunchtime, it begins to taper off a little bit, and there could be some more rounds that pop up later this afternoon, but it looks like the bulk of what we end up seeing will be this morning. It's going to be chilly with this, but we're not anywhere close to freezing. We take a live look at downtown Raleigh right now. Cloudy skies, 42 degrees, and we'll just hold it in the 40s all day. So again, kind of a chilly rain for us, but not close enough to freezing for there to be any frozen precipitation. 39 Fayetteville, 37 Clinton and Goldsboro, 35 South Hill, 37 in Roxborough. So around town today, it's just going to be, a little uncomfortable. 49 in Raleigh, 51 in Durham, and 48 degrees in Fayetteville. Check in what happens next, though. Remember last Wednesday, we had snow on the ground, 1 to 5 inches. This Wednesday, we could be pushing 70 degrees. That's pretty much winter in North Carolina for sure. It was such a cold January, though. For most of the month, we had temperatures below normal. So we're still sitting at below normal for today. But watch what happens Wednesday and Thursday, and then over the weekend. Look at how dark red those colors are over us. So big warm up coming our way. A little taste of spring Tuesday, 58, 67 on Wednesday. Morning temperatures will still be chilly, near freezing Tuesday morning, and around 36 on Wednesday morning. Some nice warm temperatures as we head into Friday and Saturday as well. Saturday looks like it could be wet. Sunday for Groundhog Day. Will the groundhog see its shadow? We'll see.
Just a week away, right? Cats catching bird flu. The new guidance for pet food manufacturers as the number of cats falling ill or dying from the virus grows.
Alien is coming to Earth. We'll show you the first look at the newest series tied to the horror franchise.
A new bid to buy TikTok would allow the U.S. government to own up to 50% of the company. An AI business called Perplexity wants to merge with TikTok's owner, ByteDance. A potential agreement between Perplexity and ByteDance would likely take months to complete. President Donald Trump says he will make a decision about TikTok's future in the U.S. within 30 days.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning pet food companies to revisit their bird flu plans. Some steps the FDA recommends include seeking out healthy flocks or herds for ingredient sourcing and heat treating during processing. The agency says house cats are especially vulnerable to the latest strain of H5N1 or avian flu. The FDA also recommends pet owners cook raw pet foods before serving them to your furry friends. A new documentary is shedding more light on the personal life of the comedian who portrayed Pee Wee Herman. In the posthumously released documentary, Paul Reubens comes out as gay. He talks about how he concealed his private life as his character Pee Wee became more famous. He says he spent his whole adult life hiding behind the alter ego. The documentary called Pee Wee as Himself premiered at the Sundance Film Festival.
We're getting a first look at an upcoming series inspired by the Alien movies. This is a point of view styled escape from the xenomorph from containment in a spaceship. It then pans out to show the Earth heading towards Earth. A straight, direct course for it. New show, Alien Earth, will come out on Hulu this summer.
An update on lead at Durham parks, when we expect the city to share restoration and reopening efforts.
3 people were hurt during a Super Bowl celebration there. And what police are saying about the car that drove through a crowd of Eagles fans celebrating their win over the Commanders.
And to show support, how the community is rallying around the Raleigh police officer in critical condition after a shooting. That's ahead at 5 a.m.